What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Stickly Disc Golf. So this is the back nine of Reighard Park, the course playthrough. So if you haven't seen the front nine, I'd encourage you to go check it out. Very scoreable course, fun little layout with some natural tees. Hopefully we're gonna get some concrete tee pads soon. But yeah, so the back nine is just long tees for each hole. So plays with the same baskets, definitely more difficult. Longer, tighter lines, and two of the holes really are. You're usually not going to reach them unless you get some insane shot. But yeah, so walking up to the first tee. For the shorts, it's just a stock righty backhand hyzer. From the longs, it's kind of a tight gap. You see this little bridge on the left. You got to get past that, pretty much straight on the corner is where I'm aiming. And thought I threw a great shot. Banged a tree, so kicked right, but you should really have a putt from this on this hole, and I do. It's about 50 feet, so I'm doing a little stepper, and behind it there used to be kind of an OB fence. Now that doesn't play as OB anymore. They just took out the fence. That putt I was really frustrated with, because I don't know if you saw, but rewind that, you'll see that it hit kind of the top part of the chains and just spit straight out like it didn't hit any chains, so it was whatever. Hole 2 is one of the two holes I mentioned at the beginning where you're almost never gonna get this hole. Even the best shot, you'd be lucky to get into the circle's edge just because of how tight the trees are up by the basket and off the tee. So usually I'll just go like a backhand hyzer with like an FD, put it on quite a bit at hyzer and just kind of let it float around the corner a little bit. I usually end up within circle 2 or so. So as you can see on the left, that's where the fence used to extend to, but now there's a creek back there, as you saw on the front nine. So I'm left with about 60 feet. I've got low ceiling, tight little putt shot, but figure I can give it a go. Testing out the stepper. And I catch that branch and it knocks me straight down, but catch the second putt, so we get away with the par. Now hole 3, just about 50 feet back from the short tee pad. Usually the play is kind of a righty hyzer in that slightly bigger gap you can see straight up in front of you on the screen. I said that sucks there, but yeah, so I ended up well short because I hit one of the first trees in that gap. Tough shot, but typically this is one of the more gettable holes on the back. So I'm left with kind of a little touchy up shot. Go a little touch forehand, which is not very good yet. I'm not a forehand player. I actually almost made that, but ended up going just a little bit past. Nothing much, probably about 10 feet. So another easy par. I didn't like how that one hit the chains. I remember it being just a little too left for me, but made it. So, all right, hole 13 here, 322 feet, but definitely plays about that. So with these natural tees, so this tee pad, you're kind of going downhill just a little bit, and with those natural tees and the little wood like plank that they use to mark it, I always end up just going too far and getting my foot stuck like I did there. Pulled it right, ended up pin high right, about 80 feet left behind a tree. Just kind of had to lay up, and I took my par. So hole 14, par 4, 455, really just a chip hyzer and then an up shot. This one is the most gettable hole on the back and the front, really, from the short. And I sawed it off too much and hit that big tree in the middle. So I'm just kind of showing you the creek here. Usually this grass around the creek is never this low. They just cut it, but I don't think they cut it too much throughout the year from what I've experienced the past 2 summers. So I'm gonna go up and around through this gap on the right side of the screen, and I do, but it doesn't fade back enough in time. So that big tree, yeah, so I was just in line with this big tree. So I got about 40 feet. I stepped it off and just miss. So very disappointing par. I believe I'm even par on the back so far. 15 is probably, it's just a hole where it's a forehand roller hole. I've seen people throw backhands and forehands, and you're never going to get real close, really. Be a miracle shot. This is the kind of the jankiest hole on the back, because there's not a real line unless you're going forehand roller. And I've gotten birdies on this hole. I've gotten to circle's edge. I've gotten inside circle. But this roller obviously rolled way left. I'm actually over by this short tee pad for hole 7. So I've got like a 150-foot shot here. I'm like almost pin high, but I'm so far to the left. And I kind of juice it, so I'm left with about 30 feet into the wind. And I airball. So I didn't show the tap in, but we tapped in for bogey. Definitely one of the tougher holes on the back. Hole 16, par 4, 579. A big turnover shot. You see that the tallest tree, you want to just have it drift right after it gets there. And I threw it about 5 million feet into the air. So it is just never going to get far enough back. Just kind of stalled out. Probably went a total of like 250 feet. So I've got a huge shot here, and this branch in front of me, it doesn't look that bad on camera, but I literally just couldn't get a shot. So I tried to go a weird forehand with a Halo Leopard 3. Didn't really do anything. Like I said, my forehand is not good at all. So I just kind of got out of there, and then I had just kind of a little stock shot with the zone, about 200 feet. That big bushy tree that you got to get under it. So I did just fine. It skipped a little bit and got about a 15-footer, tap in for par. But really on the back 9, you want to get both those par 4s, so I'm falling behind. Hole 17, par 3, 411 feet, the hardest hole on the entire course in my opinion. Yeah, you got to get out of the gap. I usually just play for a 3, so I play left. I hit a tree here though, so I have a lot more obviously than I'd ever want. So I went turnover P2 for my second shot. And ideally, that big tree in the middle there, you'd want to end up right around that and have like a 50-foot putt up the hill. Yeah, so I'm kind of just showing you want to kind of clear that gap and get up somewhere near this big tree. Ideally, kind of just right of the leftmost tree from that last shot. But you can't even really see the basket here because of the lighting, but it's straight in front of you. I had about 30 feet, made a putt. Right up the hill, another par. So last hole here, par 3, 307 feet. I go a big hyzer here. The darkest tree on the right, I just go around it. This was a terrible feeling shot, but it ended up fine. I didn't get it nearly as high or nearly on as much hyzer, and it worked out just fine. By this point, I was dead, and I was very disappointed with my play. So we ended up getting there. I think we're within about 25, 30. So I'm just showing, this is the tree from both tee pads that you just need to get around. The intended line is kind of just to hug it right side is what I think they were going for. But yeah, about 25 here. And we make it. So we get one bird on the back, but a really, really lackluster finish to an otherwise okay round. So there you go. Scores will be up on the screen. That was the back 9 of Reighard Park. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for upcoming videos. I'm gonna continue to do kind of this style of video, as well as some kind of disc reviews for an amateur player. Yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.